cybersecurity scare, the US State Department was reportedly hit by a cyber attack recently.
South Africa has the third highest number of cyber crimes in the world. 2.2 billion rand lost each year.
Zero-day attacks are hitting new record highs.
Today, Africa as a whole, we are experiencing 3 times more cyber attacks than our global counterparts.
You can do better.
It's the Breakfast Lab here in Namibia's #1 hit music station. Jacques and Adil in studio, and it's a bit of tech time. So the month of October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Look, we know by now, technology, no, it's not happening. So we need someone to help us understand cybersecurity a lot better. And that someone is Binary City. Specifically, this morning on Tech Tuesday here at Radiowave, we're chatting to Mr. Rayno Burger, one of the co-owners of Binary City. Rayno, good morning.
Good morning, and thank you so much for inviting us to talk a little bit about cybersecurity.
It's our absolute pleasure to have you. We're all aware of Binary City, and we're aware of the product as well. So why is it so important for Binary City to discuss cybersecurity with us?
Binary City's focus is time and attendance and access control mostly. It's what everybody know about us, and we host that system. It's completely cloud-based, so it's like a banking system, or it's like Facebook, or it's like Twitter. It's completely cloud-based. You go onto a website, and that's where everything is happening. We take responsibility for the data of our clients, so we know all the employees that work at the client. We know how many hours they work. We know if they worked overtime. We know if they were absent, if they were on leave, anything like that. We also know in which areas can certain employees go and who can go in there and who cannot. For us, it's extremely important, and we built Binary City Time from the ground up to make sure that it's extremely secure and safe. We also have it externally audited every single year to make sure that we are on point, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. We are one of the companies that created software that is a business application and used for quite a serious matter, which affects people's pay, which affects where they can go into a building. So that's why we want to make sure things are safe.
With October being Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and cybersecurity is a massive topic, lots happening in the news, I'm sure there's a lot of moving pieces, intricate pieces to it. Can you explain to us exactly what is cybersecurity?
So cybersecurity is the practice of defending computers, servers, mobile devices, electronic systems, networks, and data for malicious attacks. Basically, anything to steal data and steal information. And it basically goes into 4 big sections. The first one is network security, the next one is application security, then information security, and lastly, operational security. All of these are really complicated and long topics to talk about. Now, with a little bit of time that we have at the moment, I wanted to talk today just about 2 specific topics. The one is disaster recovery, and the other one is end-user training. Now, both of these affect businesses more than it does people in their personal capacity, but it's so important for everybody to just be aware of this, because you need to make sure that if your phone gets stolen, you can still get into your banking app, for example. So the first thing is disaster recovery, and the whole point of disaster recovery and business continuity is to make sure that an organization has a way to recover if they were attacked by a cybersecurity malicious attempt to, for example, lock them out of their emails or lock them out of the financial system or take down their website. Whatever is needed for the business to basically keep working, there must be a way to fall back and get back into the system immediately or as soon as possible. And to me, today, I wanted to focus on the point of end-user education, because it's often that especially bigger companies have got a lot of things in place to make sure that they are cybersecurity protected. They've got antivirus on all the computers. They make sure their firewalls are perfect. Everything is perfect. And then an employee goes and just puts in the wrong USB stick into the computer. So end user education on cybersecurity is really important. And today, I want to challenge everyone. Go to whoever is your IT friend. Go to whoever is the IT person at the office. Go ask them about IT security. Go ask them about cybersecurity. Make sure they explain it to you. Make sure you understand it and get yourself educated.
Rayno, we're living in such a digital world, such an online world. There is no avoiding the internet anymore. So if there's one takeaway or a big lesson, if I can call it that, from this morning, what would it be?
be a little bit conscious about what you do. Make sure that you are that you have got your two-step verification enabled for anything that has it enabled. If it doesn't have it, try and find a system that rather does. Make sure. I'm actually going to point you out in the following 3 episodes that we're going to do for the rest of the month. I'm going to go into specifics with regards to what must you be careful on when using Facebook, for example. What must you be careful on with regards to just passwords, and so on and so on.
This is Odile from the Breakfast Lab, and joining me right now is the co-owner from Binary City, Rayno Burger. Seeing that October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, Rayno is joining me to talk about passwords. But before we do that, Rayno, I just want to talk about last week, where the theme was business continuity and end user awareness. Can you give us a recap of that, please?
Hi, Odile. Thank you very much for having us again. Yeah, so last week I asked you guys if you would please go speak to your IT manager or a friend that's in IT to just find out a little bit from them to help you, teach you about cybersecurity and about security awareness. Reach us there, tell us what they told you. If you have questions, please reach out. We'll be very glad to answer them for you.
I'm very glad to hear that. Always making sure that we get the right answers, correct?
Yes, please.
So, speaking of right answers, everyone's always wondering what is the correct type of password I should be using to protect myself online.
Right, Odile. So passwords is the thing that basically gets us into systems. Now, what is the thing? And I'm literally calling it the thing because I want to speak to every single person in the country that we all do wrong. And that is we have a single password, maybe slightly changed, but it's mostly one password that everybody just use for the same thing everywhere.
I can understand why. I'm guilty. I'm a culprit of doing that. But the only reason why I do that is because there's so many platforms that need passwords that the chance of forgetting one is quite huge.
Absolutely. So last week I told you guys that we at Binary City get audited every year externally by companies to make sure that our systems are secure. And one of the things that they recommend to us, but also to everybody, is that you shouldn't use a single password for every single application, which is kind of obvious. Everybody knows that that's not what you're supposed to do, but the question is, how do you do it? So the answer is you get systems called a password manager. We at Binary City use 1Password. The system is called 1Password, and what this allows you is it creates what they call a secret key, which is a very, very long code that no one can remember. So it's something you have to store, and then with that you use what they call a master password, and it can also authenticate with Face ID or fingerprint, so that's what we use. And what happens then is you basically have a password, a different, very difficult password for every single application that you use. A different one for banking, different one for the apps that you log in, different one for Facebook, different one for Instagram, just like that. So every single system will have a different password, and the reason for that is that if somebody asks me today, what is your password to log into Binary City Time? I literally don't know. The system knows it. The system is secure. The system is encrypted. Not 1Password can get the information, just I can get the information with my own biometrics to get into that system. So my takeaway today would be, please look at password managers. I want to specifically also say what is bad, what password managers are concerned. You get browsers that does this for you. Chrome is very well used for this. Chrome can save your passwords for you. The problem is that Chrome doesn't suggest new passwords for you, so you'll still need to make up your own passwords. So it would rely on the person to create a difficult password. But the other problem is that Chrome doesn't have all the security requirements that we want in saving all these kind of difficult passwords for you. So the answer is get a password manager, and preferably use one that is paid for. You don't want to use a free one because then you don't know that password is going to be exposed. Credible companies like 1Password are the ones that you should go for.
Fantastic.
Yes. So next week we're going to talk a little bit about Facebook. I'm not going to talk about the outage and everything like that, just about being safe on Facebook. That's going to be the topic of next week.
We look forward to that. Safety online is the utmost of importance in our day and age, so we appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely. Thanks, Adil.
Thank you, Rayno. That was Rayno Burger from Binary City, here to talk to us about Cybersecurity Awareness Month for October.
Breakfast Lab here at Namibia's number one hit music station, Jock and Odile in studio, and we are joined by a guest, Rayno Burger from Binary City. It is, of course, Cybersecurity Awareness Month, so why not get the most caveman person in the whole company who doesn't know anything about it to talk to Rayno. Rayno, welcome.
Thank you very much, Jock. Nice to be here.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's our third week that we're doing cybersecurity awareness. How's the reaction been from the public?
To tell you the truth, very quiet, actually, and that's why I wanted to just mention, we are there. Please talk to us. We've got all our social media pages. That's very, very active. Comment there, ask our questions, send us an inbox, reach us on our website, www.bcity.me. Please visit us, contact us. We are there to help you guys.
Also, don't forget LinkedIn.
Yes, please.
Last week we were talking about Facebook and everything that goes with that. So I want to find out from you straight up, because it seems everyone lives on it. Is Facebook safe to use?
All right. So Facebook, as it was originally written and is used by Facebook itself, it is safe to use to a certain extent. But I want to tell you guys about a story that happened in 2018, and this story might make you think about how you feel about Facebook. So in 2018, there was this huge scandal called the Cambridge Analytica scandal. The company is a British company, and they were hired for basically political advertising data collection. Yeah. And it was something that everybody loved. Everybody in America especially, they loved it. And it happened that in the way that the app developer could use Facebook was to actually expose and get a lot of data from users and also from users' friends. So the idea here was that you would basically almost sign away everything that you do on Facebook to this third-party company. So not to Facebook, to a third party, and they could use that information then for whatever they wanted to. In this case, they wanted to use it for political advertising, so they used it in the Trump campaign. That's basically where the whole thing came from. And in that whole process, 87 million Facebook accounts were compromised. And the scary thing here is that the personal information of people, so this means everything that you have put onto your Facebook profile, how old I am, who I'm married to, who's my nephew, who's my niece, anything that you put there, but including even direct messages. So literally what I've DM'd to you, they could basically access. So they use all of that information to use that in political campaigns. So the problem here is Facebook safe? Yes, it was intended to be safe. It is intended to be used for us to communicate with our friends, with our family. The problem is that app developers sometimes does a little bit bad things to it. So this is where I want to bring my awareness in. If you use Facebook the way it was written originally, just with pure Facebook stuff, it's pretty safe to use. It's all encrypted. Facebook does use it for marketing purposes. We all know that. So they do create a profile of every person. I don't think that's a problem. It's a free system. It's something that we must all accept. But if you are installing any app that is using Facebook, make sure about all those ticks that they ask for permission for, because nobody of us does it. We all just click accept, and there we go.
I once saw a story of someone that went through an entire T's and C's thing, and at the end it said, if you've read this far, phone us and we owe you money. She phoned and actually did, because you're so right. Who actually goes ahead and reads, I don't have the time. I probably do have the time. I just don't want to. So I just click, yes, take all my information.
Luckily, I just want to say one thing on when you do activate apps, and when I say apps, it's often games, because people in Namibia, they love games on Facebook, especially these things that say, what will I look like when I'm old? Which celebrity do I look like? Those apps is the ones, I know specifically those two they were very common in a little while back in Namibia. So if they are being used, it's very easy to just see. They say, I'm going to share my name, I'm going to share my email address. Just read through those things. If you're happy with it, go for it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Facebook went down 2 weeks ago. What was the problem? Were they hacked? Was it a cybersecurity issue?
Luckily, it wasn't, but we must also know that the chances of Facebook us telling us the real truth it's not that, it's not that, they probably won't do that. Yeah. But I would just want to explain that the size of Facebook's data centers, they've got 18 data centers around the world. 14 of those are in America, and those cover 3.7 million square miles of land. So it's really, really huge. I tried to find out how many servers does Facebook have. Now, in 2009, they did tell us it was 30,000. And in 2010, they told us again it was 60,000. But now they don't tell us anymore. Yeah. So we don't know how many servers. It's definitely hundreds and hundreds of thousands of servers. And to keep all of this together, they use technology. I don't know how technical I can go. So to make it very, very easy, they use technology called Border Gateway Protocol. So what that does is it's basically if I log onto Facebook and I do anything there, it's basically how the internet tells it what's the shortest route from me to the data center closest to me. And a configuration update was done on their routers that basically deleted that record or those records around the internet, which basically brought it down. So the actual systems were online. We just didn't know how to get to it. So that's what happened. There were a little bit of reports that data was hacked at the time, but it always happens when they go down. We couldn't get any confirmation of that. So I don't think that is what happened. It definitely sounds like an honest network configuration problem that happened.
Okay, fair enough. That's good to know. So there you go. From Rayno himself, use Facebook for the way Facebook was intended. And if you feel free and happy that you want to click all the little buttons to say, yes, use all my details, take all my details, then I suppose each to their own at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Rayno, how do we get hold of you?
Please, the easiest way is go to our website, www.bcity.me. Everything that you need about us is there. How to contact us is there. Our links to our social media pages are there. Use that.
Rayno, thank you so much. Next week, same time, same place. A bit of Tech Tuesday here during Cybersecurity Awareness Month.
Welcome Rayno Burger from Binary City for the fourth and final installment of the Tech Tuesday session to bring awareness about cybersecurity and also remind people that October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Welcome. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Hi, Chops. Thanks very much, man. It's great to be here again.
Remind us about the topics covered.
Right. Actually, so what we did is our first session that we did was about the focus on end user education. It sounds funny, but people know about cybersecurity, but they don't really make the effort to get themselves educated. So that was my first question. So my question is, did you speak to your IT dude? That was the first one. The next one I spoke about was about passwords. I recommended that people use a password manager. I specifically mentioned 1Password as a preferred tool in our company, and then also to set up two-step verification for systems that you can. Last week we spoke about Facebook. We heard back that people found that very interesting. Facebook's problem is not Facebook itself, but rather the apps that is installed on top of Facebook, especially games. Again, remember to review the information that the apps asks when you install that app. And yes, here we are again.
Absolutely. And what are we talking about today?
Right. So today's topic is, it's the most boringest topic. Unfortunately, I also left it for last for that reason. It's called, we call it phishing in the industry. So phishing means somebody sent you an email with a link that looks like your bank, or it looks like your, maybe even Facebook. It looks like Twitter. It can look like anything. And then when you click on that link, the page is designed to look exactly the same as the original site, but it's not the same. So then the idea is here to steal your login credentials. This is why, again, I always say, and this goes back to password managers, because a password manager is going to tell you, look, you are putting your password into a site which is not the site where you're supposed to put it in. So a password manager can help you a little bit on phishing as well. And and then most importantly, watch that URL at the top of the screen. The URL shows you, for example, if you are looking to log into your bank, it will say your bank's URL name there at the top, whateverbank.com, let's call it raynosbank.com. And if you see that name there, you see it secure and you log in, then you are safe and good to go. Remember that putting in passwords is something that should only be done on the site where you're supposed to be logging into. We find that this is the most easiest way to especially tackle people that is not IT minded. And here I want to mention where companies, for example, they do a lot, like you will find that phishing emails often get tracked by the IT systems that companies install in their environments. So you would often not even get those emails, or when you do, it would be highlighted in a very big red. I've seen many systems do that to show you that this could be a phishing email. Make sure of this URL link before you click on it. And in our company, our staff they're very trained on it, and they actually contact our IT team when they get something like that. But the problem here is for people that do not use official IT systems, this is basically all of us. We all use our own email solution. Many of us use Gmail. Gmail is very good at detecting phishing emails, so you would, if you use Gmail, not often get this. But there's many other systems out there that people use, and not all of them do these checks for you. So That's my going home today. Be careful of phishing emails. They are designed to trick you, designed to get your username and password. So if you've got your password manager installed there, and if you've got your two-step verification set up, chances are very, very, very good that you are protected because you won't get caught out.
That's so informative. How do we reach you and Binary City?
We're on all the social media platforms that are there, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then obviously the easiest way to reach us is our website, bcity.me. If you go there, all the links are there to all the social media platforms, and also you can then use our contact us page to reach us. Also, our website has a chat box. If you will literally, if you go onto the website, the chat box pops up, you'll be able to speak to our sales team immediately, and you can ask them what you want to ask, and they'll put you through or get you to the right person.
Thank you so much, Rayno. That was Rayno Burger from Binary City for the fourth and final installment of Tech Tuesday session, bringing you awareness about cybersecurity.